What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Emo's Not Dead podcast. I am your host, Matt Cutchell, and today we have a wonderful guest who's one of my great friends. Give it up for Andrew Goldstein, everybody.
Hello. Thank you, guys.
They love you.
Yeah.
By the way,
They really do.
By the way, my favorite thing is I didn't tell you this ahead of time, but I will tell certain people. I totally forgot. I'm like, there's a fake crowd here.
Oh,
Yeah, we cut to it.
oh my God, they're going wild.
This is crazy.
You guys, I'm going to read this because it's very impressive. Andrew Goldstein is a multi-platinum songwriter and producer, and he's written and produced songs for people like Celine Dion, Katy Perry, Britney Spears, Machine Gun Kelly, 5 Seconds of Summer, Black Bear, Maroon 5, and many, many more. But his biggest success so far is Your Broken Hero.
Yeah.
So
I thought you were going to say being on this podcast.
that's the second. So it goes producing Your Broken Hero, then being on this podcast, and then probably like a Britney Spears song or something is like third. So Andrew, let's talk about Your Broken Hero.
Okay, let's do it.
The biggest band you've ever recorded. You guys. So anyway, Andrew is a good buddy of mine. We met back in 2010.
Something like that. 2010, 2011. With
Something like
It Boys, baby.
Damn. So we met back in the day. Andrew was already a great producer, but still like an upcoming producer. You've been doing it now 13 years since then-ish. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget, we recorded a few songs together, one of them being Rooftops, which I still to this day think Rooftops deserve something more. I still do.
It was something cool at the time because everyone was doing dance, like 2010s dance pop.
Yeah.
And we were like, what if we did like dance synths, but like halftime, like, dubsteppy drums or whatever?
Yeah.
It was a banger. And it was performed at your wedding, right?
Yes, did
Or like
yeah,
I saw
bro.
the video, yeah.
Bro, so me, Duck, and Judah were there, and someone just asked the DJ to play it, and we all performed it at the wedding and got so stoked. And for some reason, every time I hear it, and I truly don't believe it's because I was a part of writing it, every time I hear it, I think, this is just a good song and it belongs on the radio. And maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. But anyway,
rewrite it for Your Broken Hero.
There we go.
maybe we should.
Yeah.
Maybe
Rooftops
we should.
remix, Your Broken Hero emo remix.
God, that'd be nice. No, so for those of you who don't know Andrew is a smash hit multi-platinum songwriter and producer. But you didn't start there. You started your journey. Was Friday Night Boys your first band?
It was like my fourth or fifth band.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. But so I used to play in Friday Night Boys on Fueled by Ramen. So that was like, it started in 2006, and that was like MySpace era of a lot of very bizarre emo, like synth power pop music happening. So I started that band when I was in college, and just on MySpace, just by myself, and just I would record the songs with my buddy, and he was like the only guy I knew that could like kind of record. Put the songs up online, and it started to like pick up on MySpace or whatever. I was like, all right, this could be something. And then it just kind of started to grow, and there was a lot of the other bands of that style, which was, like power pop, pop punk, emo-ish later time. So around 2008, it started to pick up, and we got offered to play on TRL, the MTV show.
That's pretty wild.
No, that's huge.
And they were doing like a thing for like unsigned artist showcase or whatever. So we went on there and performed acoustic, and then we got the attention of some labels and stuff, and we were already talking to a couple, and then we met with Fueled by Ramen and we signed there. Then we went on tour. We toured for like 2 years, or almost 3 years really, and toured with all the Boys Like Girls and Cobra Starship and We the Kings and The Main and Hey Monday and
So sick.
Forever the Sickest Kids, all that stuff. And then did that for like 2 years, and it never, it was doing its thing, but it never kind of hit that
Peaked.
part where we were like, I was like living on my friend's couch. Like I had like without a room, just I was like paying whatever money I could get for rent and stuff.
You were a real Fueled by Ramen artist. Like that's how.
Yeah.
That's how
Literally
you were
actually
living.
fueled by ramen.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a fun journey, and it that's like what introduced me to co-writing though.
Got it.
And like the world of that, like being, I didn't really know that you could just like be a songwriter person. So when we were doing our album, I came out here and worked with a producer, and he set up a bunch of co-writes with other professional songwriters. So I was able to collaborate with a bunch of pop songwriters, and I didn't know that was a thing. So I was like, oh, this is way easier with like someone else here that's like really good at lyrics or like really good at the instrumental track or really good at melodies or concept or whatever. So that was like the first time I was like truly collaborating with stuff. So
Damn.
yeah. And then the band broke up in, I guess it was the end of 2010 or beginning of 2011 or mid 2010 sometime.
Okay.
And just like, I think we just kind of ran our course and it just like wasn't going in the way that anyone thought we were going to go. So broke up the band, and then I started just like writing songs and producing songs.
So when you broke up the band and you started writing your first song, how did you even go about like, now I'm going to write a song? Did you just do it by yourself, or did you start reaching out to contacts to be like, hey, let's write a song together?
I was doing both a little bit. So I would do like some local bands and stuff and just like whoever wanted to write or whatever. And then I ended up just sending a bunch of tracks and songs to this guy E.N.D that produced my band's record at the time.
I remember E.N.D, yeah.
Yeah, and so I would just send him instrumentals and tracks or song ideas or whatever just to see if it, worked for anything. I didn't know I still don't know what I'm doing, but I really didn't know what I was doing. And it was crazy. So this was like 2010 sometime. The first song he sent me, he was like, hey, I have this song I did and I wanted to see if you could like add production stuff to it. Drums, some guitar, keyboards, whatever.
When you were new, he asked you this?
Yeah, because I was
Wow.
sending him tracks. He's like, oh, like maybe you can just like add some shit, like just to save time and like just help, whatever. And the first thing he sent me was this song called Tonight Tonight by Hot Shell Ray, which is like that song was like in 2011,
We're
I
going
guess.
at it tonight, tonight.
So,
that song was good.
So I worked on that. That was like the very first thing I worked on.
What?
Which is crazy now thinking about it. But
Same, yeah.
so there was like a really bizarre run of like, it was that song. And then the second song he sent me was the song called Who Says that ended up being a Selena Gomez song. And then the third song he sent me was the song called It Girl. That was a Jason Derulo song. So
And you
like,
landed all three of those.
Yeah.
That
like
is
additional
crazy.
production, but it was like, I was like, damn, this is way easier than like getting in the van and touring around. I should do this shit. So
Sheesh.
I also realized that was like a very anomaly thing to occur, especially at the beginning, because usually it's like, granted, I was writing with my band, multiple bands and stuff, but I was just like, I'm having a way easier path with this than trying to like go play a zillion tours and try to, whatever.
And so by the time you left your band, you were songwriting, obviously, but also producing, because when you were doing the album for your band, you had a producer. Mm-hmm. So had you picked up producing since then? Yeah.
So I was like, before I worked with that producer, I was like kind of producing with the help of my friend Sean Small, he's like an amazing producer and writer, and he's in Nashville now. Mm-hmm. So he does a bunch of country stuff, a bunch of pop stuff now. But we were kind of like working together on it, and I kind of just saw how it worked in the computer and like how you shape it. So like, obviously the writing the song is the one part, and the producing it is like recording the instruments, how it sounds, the drums, the keyboards, the synths, the effects, the vocal production, what the vocals sound like, all that stuff. So kind of picking up on that as I went. Yeah. And just kind of experimenting, being like, it's just like a lot of experimenting and a lot of YouTubing of like how to do stuff.
What was Tonight Tonight by Hot Shell Ray? That was your first radio success, right?
Yeah, in production, yeah.
Was that 2010?
That was, I think that was 2011 when that came out.
Because I feel like when we started working together for It Boys, I feel like it was around the same time.
It was, yeah.
And so I remember what's crazy is...
it was the end of 2010.
When we started working together? No, it has to be, because our album came out, that album Introduction came out in 2011. And you had like 3 or 4 songs on it. But
wait, was the It Boys album called Introduction?
Introduction. Yeah, it was Introduction. It was introducing us.
That's tight.
But I'll never forget the first time we went and wrote with you. I hadn't known who you were yet, but I had seen a couple of your credits, and Hot Shell Ray, I believe, was one of them, I think. But I just knew that you were a good producer and more of an up-and-coming producer because you were new. And I'll never forget, we went in the room and we recorded Rooftops. And when we left, I was like, that was really fucking good. I was like, Goldstein's new? Cause that was good. Like your production, if you listen to it now, your production's still good for being a new producer. So how did you get good in like a year? Cause you fully produced that.
Yeah, it was me and Dan Book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does Dan
and-
produce as well, or just he produces as
Yeah.
well? I was genuinely shocked at how good the quality was for how new you were, because I thought it was going to be more like we write it together and then you might co-produce it and send it off to a couple other people, but like I remember you did it and turned it around immediately.
Oh yeah.
And I listened. Did you ever hear Rooftops by chance?
I haven't.
And I remember
I'll need to.
This whole podcast Matt's talking
It's about
some
Rooftops?
album track.
we talked for an hour about Rooftops. Dude,
No one's ever.
God, you guys, listen. We got to get that. We got to blow that song up. We got to.
But I have a question about
Yeah.
this, because a quick turnaround from songwriting to producing, that's 3 short years. You must have been a phenom on the computer.
Well, I had done been like making music on the computer for a while, even in high school, like messing with these like weird shit programs that you would get.
Like Fruity Loops and shit.
Yeah, Fruity Loops. There was like a tab edit program where you could like program MIDI all in guitar tabs.
Yep, I used that. And
Cakewalk Sonar, Cool Edit Pro 2.
Yep.
Like an early version of Cubase, like stuff like that, where I was hopping around.
Got it.
A little bit, just getting familiar with what it looks like, because essentially all recording on a computer is just like laid out in a graphical kind of form, versus like looking at a board, which is like recording to tape and you're looking at meters and stuff.
Yeah.
This is just it's horizontally laid out.
And-
so just understanding that.
And so you had all these pirated softwares.
Oh, hell yes. On a compact Passario.
Oh, nice, dude. Did you have any other like peripheral, like nerdy shit you did on the computer, or was it just music?
I did animation a little
Flash?
bit. Yeah.
I knew it, dude.
How did you know that?
I called it, bro. I was
You
like, this
did call it.
guy fucked around in Flash. Like, there's no way you turn around that quick without having some concept of.
Yeah. I don't even know if I know how to do it anymore, but
Yeah.
I remember like making stupid animations, like stick figures walking around and stuff like that.
Newgrounds and stuff.
But yeah, just understanding how like the like what a graphical representation is. It's the same thing with like video editing or anything,
Right.
where you're just looking at something and aligning up
It's a timeline.
audio. Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Damn.
But yeah, very bizarre. But yeah, so the only difference is like a lot of times now producing and songwriting happen hand in hand, so at least when I work. So you're writing and you're making the instrumental and you're recording, and then you're writing other stuff and then laying that in and then adding parts as you're creating the song.
Right.
So like it's really kind of happens at the same time now.
Right.
And I want to let the fans know who don't know, Andrew is producing the entire album and co-writing the entire album with me for Your Broken Hero. So
Your Broken Hero.
So
it's going down.
So it's going down. So that is who Andrew is, and it means so much. And I genuinely want to know why, when I brought you the project, and I know E.N.D fans that know who you are were stoked that you're producing it, but when I brought you the project, why did you say yes right away? And by the way, I remember I asked you, not expecting you to, knowing that you're busy, and it's not like, I know it's not meant to be a big money maker for you, but what about it were you excited about because you were stoked on it?
Yeah,
when I brought it to you, you're like you wrote, haha, let's do it. Like, it was that easy.
I mean, I love that style of music. And when you were first doing it, like I was doing like a lot of pop and alt and EDM and stuff. So it was just like, oh, we just get to make like emo throwback songs, and there's like a comedy bit to it, which is kind of something fresh that I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And I've worked with you before. I know you can sing your ass off. I know how you can write and stuff. So I was like, dude, it'll be so easy. And the first song we did in like half a day.
Yeah.
And I was like, if that's how long it takes per song, we can do it. Each one's different, obviously.
Was that Ashley that we did first?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, Gavin, we literally did Ashley in a half a day's work, and it was like just done and needed to be polished. Like, and
so wild.
every time that we're in the studio, it's just so fun for us and just natural.
I want to be
like,
a fly on the wall so bad, because like Ashley's
come
like,
to a session.
I would love to,
dude. Come to a session.
Yeah.
What it's called that you dip with? What's
Zen.
it called? Zen.
Bring a Zen.
Yeah,
Bring a Zen and fucking just chill.
Bring a lip pillow and just chill.
Bring a
bro.
lip pillow and just chill,
God.
dude. What's up, E&D lovers? It's your boy Matt here to tell you, if you need a new shirt, support the little guys and buy our merch. This right here is the Mosh Tee. It says Emo's not dead in metal text. Pretty sick, huh? Oh, and this one? This is the Inferno Tee. It's a half-dead, scorching hot eagle. Who doesn't love eagles? This is our Sad Kid Society hoodie. We're actually having trouble keeping this one in stock. Check out the back on this bad boy. This is the Mourn Me long sleeve. It's got long sleeves to cover up those hideous tattoos we accidentally get. This sleeve's covering up my ex-girlfriend's name. Check out the back on this bad boy. And for our people who want to keep it a little bit more simple and classic, our E.N.D signature range. Quality fabrics, premium fit. So head to emosnotdead.com, use the discount code podcast, and support the little guy for once.
It's funny to hear that you were working with Selena Gomez, getting these gigs with like pop radio, Britney Spears, and then you're like, I'm going to go do this joke kind of band thing.
Right.
And it ends up popping off. Like, was it really just the history you had with Matt that made you want to work with him?
I saw some of the videos that you were doing too, and I was just like, all right, I just loved the character with the black hair.
Oh,
was
yeah.
Just like this dude. And I was like, I completely get who that guy is.
Yeah.
And I think we all were that guy a little bit.
Yep.
And I was like, I think it would just be a fun project to be a part of. And I love that style of music. And that's like what I grew up on and what we all kind of grew up on. So
yeah, but Goldstein truly knows the scene. And when we're in our sessions and thinking about who we're going to feature on songs or even the crews, like we were in the session one day and we took a break from recording our song to discuss who would be good for the cruise.
Right.
And Goldstein was like, what about so-and-so? I'm like, oh, they would be great. And so like he's helped even curate some of that stuff too.
It's the knowledge.
And also like with emo, there's also like a lot of different things that have occurred in the last like even 5 years of what emo means.
Mm-hmm.
So like emo, there's like one school that's like the late 80s, early 90s, like grungy stuff. There's
DC
stuff in there.
hardcore.
DC hardcore. There's like the American football stuff, like piebald, that era, Sunny Day Real Estate.
Right.
Then as you move forward, like I remember even like throughout the eras, I remember like when I first started listening to Blink-182 and I was like 13 or something, everyone's like, this isn't like punk. And I was like, I don't know. I'm like a little kid. I was like, I just like the music and it's cool. You can like, I'm learning how to play guitar and you can kind of play the songs because they're not very complicated riff wise. So it was like really enticing to learn it and it's super catchy and it was melodically pleasing and I thought it was just good songs to listen to. But people were calling that not punk and then it was and then like later it's like now like emo is like all encompassing of like
Alt
MySpace
music.
era, any kind of like music that revolves around that, screamo, metalcore, to like acoustic music, to rock, to pop punk, to power pop, to synth pop.
It's kind of just a synonym for if you play an instrument in a band.
Right.
Like almost like there's rock and roll, there's rock, and then there's the new rock stuff, but then indie folk and like what you would call like mall emo or whatever, like Taking Back Sunday, like that's just alt rock that got slapped on a label.
Right.
And you know, emo has become in the last 5 years in my mind like an umbrella for all of it.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Anything that had a Hot Topic t-shirt can also be
so true.
Emo.
Yeah.
It's like
because like It Boys
everything.
and Friday, you know, like your guys' music, I would never have considered emo until probably 2 years ago. You know, even though you guys looked the part, it was very, you know, but now it is.
The thing is, it just fits the vibe and feels so much because it's kind of like whatever would be popular on MySpace back then is emo.
Yeah.
It's almost like that.
Right.
You know, like if there were live instruments and it was because even like Metro Station bands like that, they will blast out at emo night and people freak out for it.
Totally.
But it's not. It's qualified under the emo umbrella. It is essentially emo.
It's kind of just any of that genre throughout time, and it's morphed over the years.
Right.
But it also means something if you're in your 20s. It means something different than if you're in your 30s or in your 40s or like.
Dude, let me ask you this question because I'm always interested on who writes songs, and I'll literally on Spotify if I like a song, I will always click to see who wrote it. There are some pop songs like I saw the other day. I clicked on like a Chris Brown poppy R&B song, rap song, and it literally had like 16 writers. And a lot of mega pop songs surprisingly have 15, 11, 10, like so many writers. How does that even happen? Like, does it just get passed around? Does the song start somewhere and then it goes to a producer with 2 other people and then those people pass it? Like, how would a song eventually have 15, 16 writers?
That is one of the ways. Like, you know, sometimes someone will write just a chorus. And they'll be like, I really like this chorus. Let's send it to these people to see if they can write verses. The artist works with someone, whatever. This producer messes with it. The other thing is there's things that are like sample packs and sample based. So somebody might just be like a guitar player and make a bunch of guitar loops. They send their sample pack to a producer. The producer checks through it. Oh, I can make a beat out of this. Some someone does drums or someone does something else, they pass it to someone else. The other part is samples. So interpolating a sample, which would be taking a song that's out that's existed and singing something, a similar melody or the same lyrics, or taking the actual recording and putting it in the song and using that as a basis for the song.
So then do all the credits on the original song end up on?
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoever owns those credits now.
So I bet you there's a lot of samples in that Chris Brown track that you were looking at.
So some songs will have, some songs can have 2 to 3 samples in them. So if you see 20 writers, it's not that 20 people were in a room or that it was passed around necessarily. There might be one song that had 5 writers and the other sample had 6 writers or 7 writers, and then whoever else did it. And sometimes more, depending on stuff.
Damn.
And sometimes the samples, sometimes that's taken from something else.
Yep.
So there's like combined with even more.
It's
multiply out.
crazy how complicated the behind the scenes can be.
Dude, it is so complicated. I still don't have it figured out. Like publishing,
Yes,
BMI,
the
royalties.
Dude, it's funny. So Gavin is managing the E.N.D project, as you know, and so like I don't need a music manager. So Gavin's just learned how to do it. So Gavin's been the Your Book and Hero music manager, and you're doing a great job.
Thanks.
You're his manager for Your Work and Hero?
I guess so.
Dude, he's managing one of the biggest bands out there. It's crazy.
How do you handle this guy?
The largest.
Goldstein just drops me, doesn't want to do the album anymore. He's like, you're the manager? I'm out of here. Hey boys, sorry to interrupt your podcast, but I have some exciting cruise news. The E.N.D. Cruise Year 2 is completely sold out. However, we do have a cruise cabin for 2 that we will be giving away to 1 lucky YouTube subscriber. Just make sure you're subscribed to our channel, like our videos, and let's see you in the comments. We're gonna scroll through the comments and pick one of you guys to give a cruise to. That's all the news I have for today. Have a great show, guys. Okay, so circling back to Friday Night Boys, your first successful band that you were in. I know it got a little hot in here, so we let Andrew take
the hoodie off.
rip the top off.
To reveal another E.N.D. shirt.
That's right.
Not like we gave him E.N.D. stuff to wear on set.
I just own so much of it.
It's
crazy.
natural.
By the way, not just plugging it, that shirt actually looks really sick on you.
Thanks.
Like I'm not kidding. With your hair, it's the same kind of font as your hair in a weird way, and it looks so
It's like death
dope,
metal font.
dude. It looks sick, bro.
This thing.
It's the same font as your
It's
hair.
the same font as your hair, and it's sick.
It is a matching font, really.
It is.
That's awesome.
It's funny because it says emo's not dead, but you can't really tell. Yeah. But anyway, it looks good. No, so back to Friday Night Boys. Where did It Boys inspire Friday? I can't even get there.
It's really wild because everyone always asks me this question. They're like, which one came first? And that's kind of like the conspiracy flying around.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Which came first? Was it It Boys or Friday Night Boys?
No one knows.
Nobody knows which came first.
If you can figure it out.
It's so annoying.
Fans out there, if you can figure it out, was it It Boys or Friday Night Boys? We'll never know.
Inspired who?
We'll never know.
So moving on.
Matt's like, yeah, when I inspired you, I taught that kid everything he knows.
I taught that kid everything.
So moving past Friday Night Boys, you produced 3 songs on the It Boys album. Was Matt your first industry plant you worked with?
I wasn't an industry plant.
You were.
You guys
No.
were like sort of.
I was, dude. We had no label. I was grinding. I put the guys together. He keeps calling me an industry plant in these freaking podcasts.
So manufactured. It was so manufactured.
You guys are all like, you guys all looked good. You guys all had like, it was hard to get like a band that like looked cohesive too, because like everyone wants their own style or something. But you guys were like, we're all dressing the same. We're all gonna have like the same hair. This is the vibe, and it's really weird because that screams industry plant.
Yeah.
No, it does. It does.
I think Hollister put you guys.
I just
up to
don't
it.
think there was like a industry to plant anything behind what you guys were doing.
There really wasn't.
It was just y'all. They were trying to come off as an industry plant.
You know what's weird though? You guys aren't wrong. We were just so corporate about the business behind it, and then we're like, we came from the Warped Tour scene. We love those bands. How do we make a mainstream band work but be polished and be as big as the Jonas Brothers?
Right.
I shared that on our last podcast that's what we wanted to be. But Gavin loves calling me an industry plant, and
I will never not believe that.
I will say thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Does it matter though if you get do you get any inclination about like, oh, this is this person authentic when they're writing, when you're writing or recording music with them?
I mean,
Does that even come into your head?
People come from all kinds of backgrounds. Like some people, like their parents are musicians, or like maybe their, like relatives are really close friends with a really big musician, or they come from nothing, or they're just some random person. My only really gauge is if I like the music and I like the artist or the band or whatever. If it's cool music, I honestly don't, like you can weigh whatever you want or like what you think the stuff is. But I think if they're making authentic music, that's what matters most.
And you're at the point where you can choose.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. I mean, like I would definitely want to work with someone where I like their music.
Right.
Because, and like sometimes you are surprised, because sometimes I'll go in with someone where I'm not as familiar with the music. I've only listened to a couple songs, or I don't know their full story. And then it's actually really interesting, or I really connect with them creatively, or I really get a vibe, or you really create well.
Is that what happened with Celine Dion?
That was when I was signed to the producer E.N.D that I used to be signed to. And he was like, we had written a song, the way it came about, we wrote a song with Neo. Celine Dion was looking for songs. So the guy I was working with sent it to her team or her label. And they're like, we really like this song and we want it to be Celine Dion featuring Neo. So it was both of them together on one song.
That's sick.
Dude, you wrote on a Celine Dion song. That's wild.
The Queen of Canada.
Dude, I mean, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
and
she's amazing.
The coolest, chillest, so lovely to work with.
Really?
Because like someone of
You
like
went,
that
you
stature.
worked, you went and worked with her?
Yeah, we went to Vegas, and because she was doing her show there at the time, so we tracked her vocals in Vegas.
Dude,
That's crazy.
I mean, were you nervous?
Oh my god, yeah,
Right?
Shitting myself.
Yeah, dude.
But it was like, I mean, she was so disarming. Knew everyone's name in the room. The nicest, the coolest, the most professional, willing to be in the booth, just like chill as hell. It was awesome.
Did you ever give her any tips when she was in the booth on how to sing it a certain way?
No.
Yeah.
I let if there was anything,
Yeah.
I let the guy I was signed to email. I let him say.
Let him
if he
say
needed,
it.
We barely needed to say anything though. She was awesome.
Damn,
It was
dude.
cool though, but it kind of like led to like some of the people that you work with that are legacy, that have been around, have had multiple eras of hits and stuff. A lot of times they're like some of the most down to earth, chill people, because they've been through the peaks and valleys of like massive success, failures, dozens and dozens of times. So like when you're hot, some people, it's easy to get an ego or be whatever, think that you're something cool. But when you're low and you still have that thing with you, it's off-putting to a lot of people. You don't want to,
Totally.
So I think when people go through those experiences, they like, you adjust to it and you're just like, it's probably easier if I'm just chill the whole time, no matter how good or how bad stuff is. And it's a good lesson with anything.
Yeah.
Because like if you're like, like any time in your life path, there's times where you're doing good and there's times where you're not. But if you need help with something, like I don't know about you guys, you're probably the same way. But it's like if someone's not doing well, but they were always a nice dude or a nice person, I'm like, yeah, I'll help that person out.
Yeah,
totally.
Whatever.
No,
They
you're
were
right.
cool.
Be kind.
Being nice goes a long way.
Goes a long way.
Especially in the industry.
Yes,
like
it really
people
does.
just want to be around cool, like people that are chill, nice, like and talented.
Yeah. Are you with where the industry for music is going? Are you at all concerned where it's going? And by you as a songwriter, maybe seeing less money because Spotify and Apple Music and the cuts are so low for the songwriters? Like, are you at all concerned with where it's going? And especially, Gavin had a good question, and I'll just ask it right now. What's the AI writing thing that's going on?
Chat GPT.
Yeah. Gavin was. Yeah,
The AI, I mean, that's a big convo right now. Is what's the AI aspect of all this?
Yeah, because I believe that AI will be able to curate Dr. Luke Worthy pop hits, right?
Yeah, AI could have definitely made Rooftops.
I think it was too artistically advanced for an
could have
AI to
never-
do It Boys Rooftops.
A little
honestly.
too eclectic.
Yeah, it was like way too many influences and brilliant human artistry to like really get in there. How many streams does Rooftops have?
I'll pull it up.
We might be at like 100,000 now.
But ChatGPT is.
We might be at 100,000 now, dude.
That's not bad.
How much did that make?
Let's find out.
How much did it? What 100,000 make?
Rooftops? Your third biggest stream. It was 140,000 streams, on
Dude,
Spotify.
that's not bad.
That's a couple $100.
Go,
So whatever
dude.
label thing you had off Spotify has made like $400 or something.
The what thing?
Whatever
Their
label was signed to.
Oh, Century Media.
Why the hell is there 212,000 monthly listeners on
For
It
It
Boys?
Boys. It's still a thing.
What is Friday Night Boys at?
Probably less than that.
Well, I know, but by the way, I know why It Boys has. I told you this, the Gotcha Life thing on YouTube. Did I tell you about that?
Wait, what? No.
So I've already told the fans, so I'll make the long story short. But the song "Guys Don't Like Me" got popular again about 3 or 4 years ago on YouTube because young kids that were like 11, 12, 13, like are those tweens, I guess. Practically young teenagers discovered "Guys Don't Like Me" and would create animated things and put them on. This is my best way of explaining it. It's really difficult. They'd create animation and they'd put it on YouTube, and it would be an animated story, and they would use "Guys Don't Like Me" as the soundtrack because of the lyrics. And the reason I discovered this is my friend, who's like 40 years old, she hit me up and she goes, "This is so random, but my daughter is 13." And she literally plugged in her phone and she put on "Guys Don't Like Me" on the way to school. And she goes, "I know of Guys Don't Like Me because I've known you forever and I remember your old band." And I said, "Honey, what are you listening to?" She goes, "Oh, it's It Boys, Guys Don't Like Me." This is about 3 years ago when she hit me up. And she's like, "How do you know that song?" And she goes, "Oh, me and my friends use it for Gotcha Life." And all these younger kids fell in love with "Guys Don't Like Me" and started using that song for their animated characters. It's freaking weird.
And it's back to Matt's point that It Boys is a generational legacy act.
Thank you, Andrew.
And it's back to my point that he's an industry plant and Gotcha.
It's a long play.
It's a long play, dude. They're trying to get their money back
They
on
set
that.
up that. They set up that.
You're
thing.
right. They set it up, and the industry trying to get their money
Yeah,
back.
they're trying to get their money back
On their loss.
on Gotcha. And nobody plays this game except for 8-year-olds.
Oh my God.
So you've written so many songs. Do numbers measure success for you when you look back at your catalog? Does the artistry play into it? How do you look at a success of a song?
I mean, I really try not to see that part of it because it can be soul sucking too. Because it's like sometimes a song you aren't that emotionally connected to might do well. Sometimes a song you're obsessed with and is like your life's meaning and like whatever it is could do absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like what Rick Rubin says, where it's like you make what you make, and then once it's out, it's just up to the world, whatever happens. But it is tough because like with accolades, you are measured by the success of something, even though anything could happen and you don't know. Because some songs, especially nowadays, like songs that are like 6 years old, randomly blow up from a TikTok thing or a live thing or whatever, and then it becomes a hit. You're like, wow. That was a good song, even though it didn't do anything back then.
Dude, was it Tonight that blew up for Hot Shell Ray?
That was their first big.
Did you write that one too?
No, I just produced on that one. The second one I did called "I Like It Like That." I wrote that. With
I like
the
it
band.
like that. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, I remember that one. So on Tonight.
After this, can you just do like a full performance of that?
100%. I would love to. No, but my question, because you're saying some songs will re-blow up or that didn't blow up will get a second chance. I heard that Tonight was released and then a year later became popular and became like a summer anthem. And I don't know how true that. Did you hear about that at all? It was released the summer before it became popular, didn't do anything that summer, and just something happened, and then they ran a radio campaign for it the summer after, and then it popped off.
With new artists in that era, the early 2010s, it still happens now, but like if you had a newer band that wasn't in the pop scene or like celebrity status or whatever, it took a very long time to get exposure. So you're like slowly climbing the radio charts, slowly building the touring, slowly building the marketing campaigns, and seeing if something ramps up. So you see little signals along the way.
Yeah.
So if there's like, all right, the song came out, it's doing okay, but like it looks like it's increasing a little bit, even if it's like a couple hundred streams or a couple thousand streams, whatever. And you can see a thing. And then if you like dump more promo or try other things, there's a multitude of things that could keep it moving. But at that point, to do a radio campaign with a brand new artist, it usually took, and especially if they didn't have like a huge fandom yet, it took a very long time. Could take 6 months, a year, 18 months, just to like, it starts at 120 at top 40 and you get a couple stations until you zero in on the main markets and try to get the spins there. And then that's based on, same thing as Spotify, which is the, the skip rate, the click rate, whatever it is, where they have all the algorithms to determine how people are listening to the music. So with radio, it's a little different now, but at that time there was a lot of like radio research. Like when people spin the dial, they do call out, they called people to see what songs they liked. And if it got a high rating, that would be a sign that this could potentially be a hit because a lot of people like it.
Got it.
So they would do the same thing just in a different way. So
they would
like 8 out of 10 people said this song was really favorable, so we're going to play it some more, or we're going to add it to the station.
Damn.
And those are extremely. Those campaigns are extremely expensive.
$200,000 plus to run a radio campaign, or at least
it can be
were.
anything. I don't really know what it is, but I mean it's extremely expensive to get a song up to the charts without it being, even with it being an A-list artist. But it's like it just takes a long time, a lot of money, because it's like, you're trying to get these stations that are trying to get ad revenue.
Yeah.
So they want something that a lot of people are going to listen to in order to charge for the ads.
Sometimes I wonder, like, I know Gavin's a marketing guy. I'm way less marketing and just content creation. But sometimes I wonder with our songs that we're doing, like the E.N.D fans are great. They support it. They like it. They share it. So it does pretty well on video, but nothing touches radio. And I know that our songs aren't necessarily tailored for radio. I know Girl Like You that we just did that sounds the most radio. So we'll see what happens. But like, how would we even go to be like, hey, radio, do you want to play our song? Like, when does that happen? Does it organically happen? Or is it a label that just sends your song to their relationships at radio and then radio puts it on?
Well, now radio is like it has a different relevance than it did, let's say 10 years ago. Just because of streaming and social media and TikTok and stuff. So like that stuff, I mean, you can have a song, you can have an insanely successful song without having any radio at all.
Yeah.
Just based on the streaming and the social media stuff. And if you want to add that aspect in, I mean, if you did it independently, you'd need a third party promoter or like someone to do that. I'm not too sure on the inner workings of how that works exactly. Yeah. But,
and that's the problem. It's a black box.
Yeah, like I don't know.
It's a black box. Like you could be in the industry and you have no idea what happens to your product.
Dude, most people. So with writing, there's also like publishing deals. Mm-hmm. So like, I didn't even realize this until later on in my career thus far. But a lot of times when you're a songwriter, and maybe you get some songs that come out or whatever, what happens is a publishing company approaches you, and what they do is they give you an advance in exchange for a percentage of your royalties.
Right.
So, and they can help with your scheduling. They can help with putting you in with writers, getting your songs placed, getting them on TV and film, whatever that might be. But the same thing, like you were saying with the contracts, there's a lot of stuff that nobody really knows. And even the people that work at the publishing companies probably don't know either. Right. Because it's all lawyer stuff.
Yeah.
So, like with that, it's like you have, it's weird. It's like a 200% pie. So you have 100% is your songwriting royalty and 100% is your publishing. 50-50, but it's easier if you break it down this way. So like if you and me wrote a song, I would have 50% songwriting credit. You would have 50% songwriting credit. And then I would have my full publishing rate on that 50%. So what the publishing company does is buy out part of a quarter of your pie, usually, which is a co-publishing deal, which is 50% of your publishing royalties, 25% of your total earnings of the thing. They give you an advance, which helps you, especially if you're up and coming, it helps you survive for a bit, but it's essentially like a bank. So it's like a loan. Yep. You pay back based on that. So the thing, I don't know if I should say this stuff. No, whatever.
It's helpful, dude. Like so, it's just, I mean.
So the thing that I learned later on in my career is like recouping, which every band does, every artist does, and songwriters do it as well. So they give you an advance, and you have to make back the money.
Yep.
And then once you make back the money, so when you're making back the money, they take 100% of your publishing cut. And then once you make it back, it goes back to 50. But the recouping, and it's the same thing with any kind of deal, is not like, all right, I got a $10,000 advance. So once I generate $10,000 in the publishing, I will be recouped. It is not how it works. They're in the jargon, a portion of it goes to the recoup and a portion it goes to the profit, because they have to be profiting as you're doing it, like any kind of loan, really, like interest loan or whatever. So you have to make more than that to recoup
And I think
the less
music
money.
videos,
It's like paying off a mortgage or something.
music videos count in that recouping. Like any photo
travel
shoots,
stuff,
travel,
whatever, and they can just tack it on if you're cool with that.
Yeah.
But it's like
you got to keep an eye on expenses.
Yeah.
Like you have to.
Totally. So it's something I didn't realize until later on. I was like, but I should be recouped, and I was like, oh no, it's split up differently.
Yep.
And then the total amount you have to generate is like usually between 2.5 to 4 times the amount you got.
Yeah.
To recoup.
It's crazy.
Sheesh. It's tough, man.
It's crazy.
Like, and by the way, like
that's why you should become a songwriter.
that's why.
guys.
Oh my god. No, but I was gonna say. So, like, would you say the majority of how you? I know that you're not surviving now because you're a successful songwriter and you have successful songs. However, the consistent check for you is the producing fee, right? When you do production for a band, the label, essentially, if they're signed to a label, will pay you a production fee for the day or for the song per song.
For the song. So
song.
they're buying the master recording off you. So you created the recording, they're buying the recording off you. And then when you get percentage points, once that recoups, like once that makes enough money, you get your percentage points on the master.
Got it.
If you're a producer. And then there's a whole other argument about songwriters don't get producer point or production or points. Mm-hmm. And they should, because they're still a part of the song. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Yeah. It's bizarre. So essentially they're paying you for the master recording.
Okay.
And then you give them, or the mixer or whatever, you give them the files of the master recording, and that's what they're purchasing.
Damn.
So wild.
Okay, so of all the songs that you've written, which song surprised you and performed better than you thought it would after it was done? Do you have one that you're like, you wrote it with someone else and you're like, it's pretty good, and it just took off? Do you have anything like that? Or not even, like, maybe you thought it was great, but you were surprised at how great it did.
One I was really not sure about was early on MKTO Classic. I knew the song was.
I forgot you did that one.
Yeah.
That was huge.
So that was me with. I co-wrote it with 3 other people, and I co-produced it. They were a brand new band at the time, so I knew the song was really awesome. I loved the song. I thought it was like a cool, kind of catchy song. But I just didn't know, with that artist being a brand new artist, what could happen. It was it ended up being a hit, which was great. But I had no idea what that was going to look like.
Do you know that, since you're a writer on it, do you know the streams that it has now?
It's over 1 billion, I think, now.
That's just Spotify, right?
Yeah.
No, it's over 1 billion. Remember the song Classic?
Yeah.
MKTO? Because I still don't know what the band guys look like. I've only heard that song by them, which, to your point, they were a new artist. Mm-hmm. But that song was huge. I had zero clue until recently that you did that song.
Nice.
But, like, wow.
Huge.
It also had like a resurgence a year and a half ago on TikTok a little bit
Got it.
I think contributed to the streaming as well. It had like some sort of trend
Does
thing.
TikTok and those 15-second dance clips or whatever clips that people do with songs, does that influence your songwriting now? Like, as the technology changes, when streaming came in, did that influence how you wrote songs, released songs, and then TikTok, has that changed? Like, or do you just stick straight to writing a good song?
I think there's obviously trends with like song structure, where the chorus comes, how wordy it is, how complicated it is. There's obviously overlying themes with pop, where it's like you need something that I always say it's like something my mom could understand and something that a 5-year-old could understand as well.
Right.
Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. There's places and times for that. It definitely depends on the artist or the band or whatever it might be. Is this someone who has a lot of their business is done on TikTok? Then you want to frame it in ways, or like find the really catchy parts. And some artists write that way too. They're like, all right, like most of my fans are on TikTok. I should write something that can be consumed on TikTok, or a clip that's going to resonate with my fans on TikTok. You obviously don't want that to be the way you write music, because you want it to be meaningful. You want it to be a clever concept, something that's extremely relatable, or like at least relatable to that person that's performing it. So I don't know. I don't know a lot, but I mean, there's people that are massively more successful than me that can have a better grasp of that.
Really quick, you touched on something earlier in that statement. You said that you want it to be a song that a 5-year-old or your mom could understand. Mm-hmm. And I'm clued into Swedish songwriters being very successful in the US because of the broken English. Have you heard about this?
Oh, so like the
Interesting.
English is more simple, yeah?
Well, their English is more simple, and like songs like "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time" is actually "Call Me, Baby, One More Time," but the translation got messed up, never got fixed, and it was a hit.
Oh, like Hit Me Up.
Yeah, "Hit Me Up" or "Call Me," but
Same with "I Want It That Way."
Yep.
By Backstreet Boys.
Yep.
There was a Swedish producer or songwriter.
It's the same
was
guy.
it Max
It's
Martin?
Max Martin.
Yeah, he did Britney. Yeah, he did a lot of Britney Spears, a lot of the boy band stuff.
He's like the greatest pop songwriter of all time.
Max Martin. Yeah.
And you've written with
Or like revered is that, I would say.
you've written with Britney.
She just recorded a song I did.
Oh, nice.
I didn't write with her in the room, though.
Dang, I was gonna ask you if she was a clone. No, definitely not. Got it.
Maybe.
We got a maybe. What data point do you have that could say?
It's a shot in the dark.
Okay, yeah, just a hunch.
Yeah.
Got it.
That is pretty insane that you had a sheet that Britney Spears tracked a song that you wrote. That's crazy.
It was very bizarre. So it was a co-write I had with 3 other people. We just like wrote a song that day. And one of the writers was like, I know Britney is looking for like 1 more or 2 more songs. So I'm going to send it to her A&R. Send it in. It was like one of the easier processes I've seen. Sent it in. She liked it. She was in Vegas doing her show. She has like her own vocal producer there. She recorded the song. And then like 2 months later, I think it came out on her album. It was just like a track on her album.
Rad.
Called Love Me Down.
Love Me Down.
7 or 9 or something.
We gotta listen to
Love
that.
Me Down. Yeah, I want to hear that one.
Damn, that's what an iconic moment. So next question is pretty important. French kiss, marry, kill. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. And sorry to ask you these real personal questions, but we just got to get into it.
Oh God.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess maybe wait, marry and kill. Okay.
Marry, fuck, kill.
I guess I don't know, dude. Those are all like controversial people.
Let's do it.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first. I think I'm gonna marry Elon Musk.
Okay.
I feel like I'd be happy with him.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get rid of Zuck, and I think I'm gonna have a wild night with Bezos.
Oh, interesting.
We're gonna go do some shit on his private jet, go to one of his private islands. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Just have a little fling out there.
I really want to hear Goldstein.
I think whoever you say kill you might die tomorrow regardless.
Yeah,
Whoever it is.
yeah, actually, you're right. Let's bleep me saying kill so I don't actually get killed for saying that.
Oh man. Maybe marry Jeff Bezos.
Nice.
I mean, I don't know. Mark Zuckerberg, he's got the alien. He's got the alien robot thing going on.
He's a
Elon
lizard person for sure.
Is an extremely controversial character.
Yeah.
So I guess kill him. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
So,
See,
so wait, you want a French Elon Musk then?
No, or kill
Kill
Elon.
Elon.
Oh, and you want
French.
a French Zuck?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna French kiss Zuckerberg.
Wow.
Let's go, dude.
See, I would have gone marry Bezos because I'm looking for that divorce money, baby.
Yeah, but don't you want to be happy with? I mean, Musk has great money too.
You don't think if I had half of Bezos's cash, I wouldn't be happy?
Yeah,
though?
you'd be happy. Oh, you're right.
You really have.
You're right.
Just for the divorce.
Just for the divorce. The only
As
one.
if you married the other ones, you would be like not okay with what their sum of money is.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
Do we have any clue? I don't know if it's public information. Do we have any idea if Zuckerberg? Sorry, not Zuckerberg. If Bezos got a prenup, or did his wife get?
No,
half
she
that?
got half.
Oh, she got half.
Yeah.
Holy
She got a
shit!
big paycheck.
Wow.
Yeah. Huge.
Wow.
The boxing thing or the fight
Yeah.
thing, and it's Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes.
If they should like do this all the time with people because it's like celebrity deathmatch from
yep.
MTV except in real life.
Yep. We've
Think
reached
about how
full.
sick that would be.
We've reached full idiocracy if this happens. If
would
we're
be
putting our
amazing.
billionaires in a fighting ring,
Like people like that are like loved and hated.
yep.
And they're like, especially if they're nemesis like vibes, it could be very fun.
Is this Zuckerberg fighting
Elon.
Elon thing? How real is it? I know Elon Musk has a personality on Twitter and he'll gladly just jump in and like egg it on. But has Zuckerberg said anything back about it?
Oh yeah, Zuckerberg was down. Elon said that his mom wouldn't let him do it, so he's kind of backpedaling a little bit. But from what everyone's training, everyone's posting pictures with UFC fighters. Yeah,
way.
I think it might happen eventually.
Wait, but like, just for them to have the fun of, just for them to have a fun of it?
I think we hate billionaires so much that this is one of the most entertaining things that could ever happen on TV.
No, dude, the streams would be insane.
They said $1 billion.
It'd be
They said $1 billion pay-per-view is what it would.
Get out.
Yeah, $1
I
billion
believe it.
pay-per-view.
I believe it.
Just crazy.
Damn. Well,
And they should donate it to charity.
Yes, they should.
So, what is? I mean, honestly, they have to, dude. By the way, if they don't donate that to charity, that's just horrible. People.
Listen,
None of them care about that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they care about charity, but like none of them be like, no, I want the money. Like, they're not gonna care.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
no, I know they don't care about making the money for it, but I guess they better not keep the money.
Yeah, wild times.
So I saw this thing the other day, and it was saying for $1 billion, it was broken down into how much $1 billion is, how much you have to make per day.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was by day, then it was by hour, then it was by minute, and it was so extreme. I forgot what it was.
It's incredible. I've seen.
It's a wild number where I'm just making this up, but it's like every single minute, $5,000, $5,000, $5,000, something like that, right? Maybe even
It was more. It was more.
And it blows my mind when you have, it was this YouTube video that I watched, and this guy was saying there are 200 something billionaires out there. And he said to solve world hunger and homelessness, it would cost this amount of billions of dollars, which means each billionaire only has to donate. And it was like 1% of their money,
Yeah.
something crazy to literally like solve homelessness and world hunger. And what blows my mind is, what really happens when they get to the mega billions to where they want more?
Speaking of the CIA,
I know something about that.
does the CIA has
I'm an expert on this stuff, man. What's up?
the CIA has involvement in in Hollywood, and they sometimes will influence movies that are made and steer narratives. Have you ever been approached by a government organization about the songs you're writing? Okay.
I'm not big enough for that.
You had to ask.
I had to ask. I mean, it's not every day that I get to have this combo.
So
hold on.
You ever heard of anyone?
No, I've never heard of anyone about
Okay.
that. No, never, ever in my life.
Sam
I don't
Smith
know what you're talking
doesn't
about.
have an.
I guess I have no idea what you're talking
Oh my God, Goldstein!
Why would they hit me up?
Well, because they need another rooftop.
Like, you're like a rocker pop. They need another rooftop.
Gotcha, dude.
I hate you
Oh
guys.
my God.
My God!
They need the next. How are we going to make more money off It Boys?
Yeah, they need the next rooftop.
Question on aliens: who do you think, from a celebrity or musician standpoint, who could be possibly an alien?
Who could be an alien?
Yeah, like if you had a guess, like this person's an alien, who is it?
Man, that's hard to say.
I have mine immediately.
Tell me yours first.
Mine's Elon Musk.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Alien?
dude,
Lizard people or alien? Lizard person?
I don't
or alien?
believe in lizard people.
Okay.
I believe in aliens, and I think
Wait,
Elon Musk.
you don't believe in lizard people?
I don't.
You never looked up a Gartha?
Can I? No, all that conspiracy stuff is so weird to me. And like to be honest,
I think Andrew's been to a Gartha, dude.
you think what?
I've been down
I
there.
think he's been down there, bro.
I told you. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Oh my God!
It's definitely not there.
You know what's weird? In a weird way.
I thought we were talking about It Boys.
Yeah, should we go
We're
back
on
to
the
rooftop?
Joe Rogan
Should we go
show.
back to It Boys?
Oh my God.
Not the Joe-
What's your favorite brand of girl jeans? I'm serious.
No, that's an actual question we
in
had.
the time, I think this is like the first time I bought. At the time, you couldn't get guys' jeans that were tight fitting, so you got
Correct.
girls' jeans. And like I remember seeing Taking Back Sunday wearing them. Like a bunch of the emo bands are wearing them. American Eagle, the first
The boyfriend boot cuts.
you had like flared
Yes,
pants.
the
at
boyfriend
first.
boot-
and then
boot
they
cuts.
made like the tight leg, like the skinny leg ones.
What size did you wear?
I think I was a lot smaller, skinnier of a person back then, but I think I was a size 8.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was a size 2 in American Eagle boot cut, boyfriend boot cut jeans.
Oh my God.
Wait, you were a 2?
I was a size 2.
That's tiny,
Bro, I was...
dude. How much did you weigh?
$110. What? No, not
Really?
really. Like 140.
No, but were you shorter? Wait,
I was 6'2".
you were 6'2"?
And I was sagging those things because they did not lengthen them. So I was like,
Bro,
ass cheeks out.
do you have pictures?
Yeah.
So can we show them right here
I
on the
don't-
screen?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, if we have them, let's show them on the screen
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
Guys, this is Gavin at whatever weight he just said,
I was-
rocking his
18 years old, dude. Yeah, with the mop.
No, you're the truth, dude.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was the truth. No, you were the truth.
You're the truth.
No, bro, you were the truth,
He was
man.
spitting facts earlier.
No,
Cold hard facts.
Cold hard facts. So Andrew, we want to ask. We ask every guest that comes on. Cold hard facts, dude.
I love your facts. I'm talking about fucking lizard people.
Dear Lord,
These are universal facts accepted by everyone. Not just weird podcast people.
so just kind of get a little bit on the serious side. Okay, let's get. We'll get to the next one.
What's your?
No, but for real, what were the E.N.D. fans? They grew up on emo music. Who were the bands that you grew up? Who got you into emo music?
I mean, I liked I guess I started in the pop punk realm first.
Where did you grow up?
In Virginia, Northern Virginia. So I was into not as much hardcore stuff, but pretty much I was probably 11 or 12 when pop punk was going off. And I liked obviously grunge stuff and Oasis and that kind of more universal rock kind of stuff.
Pumpkins.
Yeah, exactly. Stone Temple Pilots, all that stuff. But yeah, kind of that Green Day, Blink-182, right? Green Day a little bit before, but that rising up of the polished recordings. Mm-hmm. And I liked the punk records, but once that era of probably in 1999 or 2000, where people started, the pop punk people started having really good sounding recordings, which was so impressive because it was singing with, they have the auto tune going. So all the vocals are in tune, everything's lined up and it didn't sound like a basement recording, which I liked those too. And Green Day did a great job of that early on before the technology was available, just having it still sound punk, but you could hear all the parts and and the songs were great and stuff. So it started there. And then shortly after that into the more emo stuff and screamo.
First band that screamed that you got into? Do you remember who it was?
Oh, the first band that screamed, Under Oath.
Oh, it was Under
Oath?
Oath?
I think, yeah, the early song with the old singer.
Oh, with Dallas Taylor.
Yeah.
The Angel Below.
Oh no, what was the Sun Still Sleeps or whatever? Yeah,
Yeah, that song's
I heard
good.
that. I was oh, this is interesting. And then because also the people that dressed the pop punk people, it started off with the khaki shorts and the high socks and skateboarding stuff.
Dickies and stuff.
Yeah, and then people were wearing the jeans. And then the metalcore, hardcore people were also dressing the emo people. So if you went to a show, you'd be oh, here's an emo pop punk band. And then someone that kind of looks like that was also playing crazy metalcore. And I was oh shit, this is that's when the genres started coming together a little more, I think.
Yeah.
It was just interesting. And then I got more into the harder stuff for a little bit. And then weird ambient rock, then the Circa Survive stuff.
Yeah.
And
What was the harder stuff that you got into? When you first were oh, I like the screaming shit.
I liked The Bled. Do you remember
The
that?
Bled is so
Okay.
They were
good.
Yeah, Gavin loves The
that
Bled.
record. That
Hotel.
what's the
I'll pull it up.
that one.
Gavin was just talking about the Blood today.
Red Wedding.
Yeah.
I never listened to them, and not just because I heard the name, but I never dove in. So I'm gonna check out the Blood.
They were
Gutter
cool.
Shark and I got in trouble for plagiarizing the Blood in English class. I took their lyrics and I presented them as my own. And I got
How did they
Who
find
found
out?
he
The
Googled
teacher was
No, this
this
is actually
sounds like the Bled album.
this is actually really funny.
Sounds like the Blood.
So this was right when the internet started becoming accessible, not just dial-up. And Mr. Cornelius at Ashland High School, he Googled my lyrics, and thankfully I had posted them on my MySpace blog. And so he pulled it up, and I said, "No, dude, look, that date is after my date that I posted the blog." And he didn't go find other lyric websites, and so I got away with it.
So he
shit.
he thought the Bled ripped you off.
Yeah.
They're we need lyric inspiration. What's that 10th grader guy? Wherever the fuck,
Dude, I got away. Maybe he knew I was full of shit, but I felt like I was. I felt
Was it
I was
a poetry literature
Yes.
thing?
Yeah.
Stealing does feel pretty good.
No. What I've done in the comedy world is if I see a really funny idea, I have done a similar concept, but I'll tag them and say inspired by.
Yeah.
I don't do a word for word. Like I'll be like, oh, that's actually a really funny idea, and I'll do that skit with Ariel, and I'll do inspired by. So you can go see the original.
Got it. That's cool.
I feel like that's a whole new realm of stuff, like with the videos, like especially like with when you were on Vine,
Yep.
and then like going into Instagram video and TikTok, like who has the rights to the concept, and you don't, right?
Dude,
Yeah.
what bummed me out is when I was a smaller Vine artist and I had smaller as in like I had like under 100,000, but there were people who had millions. I got my ideas jacked all the time, and some of them were word for word.
Oh, yeah.
Like they took the exact script, they cast a guy, they cast a girl, and I would, and that would blow up, and I'd be scrolling through, and I would get tagged and say, "This is Matt Cutchell's, this is Matt Cutchell's," but they would delete those comments, and I would catch them, and I'd be like, "This sucks." They actually took my line and they made it popular. So that's happened quite a few times.
Have you ever caught someone stealing from you?
There's been like at the beginning when I started writing, there was like one or two things that happened.
You beat them up?
Yeah, and it ended in a fist fight,
Yeah.
and I lost. But I just see it. It's like sometimes you have to eat shit, especially at the beginning. And once you get more established and you have a proper team with you, you can kind of handle it better.
Yeah.
But it happened to me with one song that ended up being a big hit early on, where there was like I didn't have I don't even think I had a manager yet, and something happened where somebody got the files I was working on and it got mixed up in a thing, and then it became a hit for someone, and I had like no ground to stand on pretty much.
Damn.
And the weirdest takeaway, I was like, because the person that did it, like there was like a different, more established crew of people, and I was like, even if I was on this song, they wouldn't be like, oh, he was on that song. They'd be like, oh, it's the people that are super established probably did it, and this random dude's on it. And I saw it as like, okay, this sucks for sure, but at least this was good enough for someone to use, and it was a success.
Right.
So I know that like whatever, like I am at least capable of making something that could be successful.
Right.
And that's how I tried
Wow.
to frame looking at it.
Kind of validating.
Yeah, and like looking back at it, especially now, it wouldn't have really changed the trajectory of anything in the bigger picture.
Yeah, because you ended up crushing it no matter what.
No matter what.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, so I just saw it as that. Like, damn, okay, that's really. I was like,
You
I'm
never
not gonna,
got any credit. You never got any credit for it. No payment, no credit, none of that. How big was the song?
It was a number one.
A number one radio hit?
And you can't say what song it
Bro.
was? Yeah.
Oh my god, dude!
What date was it?
It was a time, but it was like whatever, and even if I like fought for it, maybe I would have gotten 5% or something and been up to my neck in legal bills. But
Yeah.
Oh man!
at the time I just let it go, and I had to hit like 6 months later, so
Cool.
it wasn't like, oh my god, this was my one chance. And also like that does happen with people where you're like, you obviously want to be fair to everyone and try to include everyone, and then it's also a good lesson for later on. It's like, damn, I definitely do not want to do that to someone if that were to happen.
Right.
So I usually try to, like you want your team to pay close attention to everyone involved and not try to like screw people over or do something, because if someone's, especially if someone's here to stay, you're going to run into them again and again. Like, with anything, it's like,
totally.
see the same people over and over again. Some new people come in, and, there's people you've been working with on and off for 10 years or 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So you want to try to have good ethical practices for the most part.
Have you blacklisted the person that no?
No,
Have you
I
worked
don't-
with them again?
I don't know if we've crossed paths again.
Oh.
But I don't know. I'm not entirely sure it was them that were aware of what was happening.
Right.
I think it was like the middle people
Yeah.
involved in it.
Got it.
So I don't blame them really. I think
Yeah.
they were just like, whatever.
That's good.
So this is honestly a question for me because I really like this band a lot. You did a lot of work with Lainey.
Yes.
And did you do a whole album or just some of the album?
I did the whole album, the GGBBXX album.
You did the whole album. You produced that whole album, dude. It's so good.
Thanks, man.
You crushed that.
They're insanely talented people, and they're like highly involved in the production as well. So it's
Really?
kind of like a co-production with the band,
Yeah.
So they're like have ideas of how it should sound. They're like recording keyboard parts, trying vocal stuff, trying guitar stuff,
Yeah.
trying drum stuff. Like it was cool. That was really fun too.
Yeah.
And I'd listen to like some of their previous albums, like years past. I'm like, man, that would be cool. And then we had one session and it went well, and they're like, hey, let's try some more songs, and then it kind of went from there.
I kind of want to switch gears a little bit because I haven't had this conversation with Matt yet, and I wanted to get it from you first.
It was the album was called Introduction. It was It Boy's Introduction.
Oh, you're talking about when you list the greatest albums of all time?
Yeah,
okay,
it's
certain
called
albums come to mind. One in particularly, Introduction by the It Boys.
How old is too old to be emo?
How old is too old to be emo? I don't know.
No, doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters.
I love the gray. I asked because the grays. I mean, the grays
I've been
are
going gray since I was like mid-20s.
Oh, really?
I'm 37 now. I'm very old.
Dude, it's awesome that you have it still, and it's so gray.
Thank you.
Because I'm losing mine like so fast.
It looks great.
Thanks.
Your hair
It
looks
does
great.
look great, and I always tell Goldstein I love the grays. Like
Yeah.
I think it's a cool.
It's a
look.
silver fox
It's
look.
silver fox.
And
And it dyes. If you like dye it,
Yeah.
it's really easy because it's like already like white.
You don't have to pre-bleach it. That's probably why I'm going bald, is because I did all that pre-bleaching before the black dye.
Did you pre-bleach?
I wanted
black
it
dye?
black as fuck.
Are you going bald?
A little bit.
It's just it's starting to recede.
A
huh?
little bit.
Yeah.
No, but getting back to my actual real question, I want to talk to you about the Your Broken Hero album because A Letter to Ashley came out as a one-off, and then Tommy's Face came out again, similar as a one-off, and then we were like, okay, let's do an album, and so we do the Kickstarter, we get the funding, fans were great, and I hear about you guys going to recording sessions. I've heard Girl Like You. Fucking awesome hyper pop song. I'm really excited for that to come out. Pamela, also awesome. I'm curious what your vision is for the full album as a completed product, or if you've thought about it in that regard, or if you're thinking about it in just making sure that the tracks check the boxes, are good, or if you're thinking about it as how they land next to each other and how they will sequence.
Usually it's a combination of both. So I think like when we're writing the songs, like we're coming out with we usually have like a plan for that day. So like when we were doing Red Light Kisser, we like started the vibe, and like when we were like halfway through writing it, we're like, you know what, who would sound really good with this song is if we got Jordan from Newfound Glory on this. It kind of feels like that kind of vibe. So then as we're finishing out, we start kind of like envisioning what that would sound like. So that kind of helps take shape of the song. And I think each song is different, and it's kind of like we kind of like laid out the genre areas of the emo stuff that we wanted to check the boxes of. So it's like with Girl Like You, we wanted to do like that MySpace era synth pop hello goodbye kind of thing. And then like you were saying with the song Pamela, it's like a little more of like a metalcore song meets like Fall Out Boy My Chem sort of.
Yep.
So and usually whenever we set out to do like, oh, we're going to do a song like this, it always becomes a hodgepodge of like everything. We're like, oh, what if the second verse sounded like Taking Back Sunday, and then randomly like, we have like a screamo part, and then it like goes pop punk, and then it goes to emo breakdown or like whatever it is. So I like just being in the flow. I don't try to think of it too logistically because I just like having a good time making the music, and I feel like Matt does too.
Yep.
So kind of just feeling the flow and having like a general plan. And then usually at the end, I'll like, once we get towards the end, I'll start thinking about like, where the songs are placed on the album, or like what flows into each other properly.
Got it.
Because you do want to think about that, but I think getting the body of work, just like all the songs as good as they can be, and so we're all happy with them first, and then think about like, okay, what does this sound like all together? And I've been in positions where we've been at that point, and at the very end, we're like, this is the album, and they're like, we really need like a ballad, or like we really need another up tempo, or we need a song of this other kind of feel, and then you write again at the very end. So like sometimes with an album, the songs that stick are either the very first one that like gave shape to the whole thing, or the very last song you do, because it's like you've tried all the vibes, or you have everything that you think you need. So typically the last song you do will be something that's a lot different than everything else. And sometimes that can be really beneficial because it forces you to step out of the box a little bit.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that like we obviously know that we want to have a variety of songs that nod to the emo songs that we grew up with. So the Girl Like You song that we're doing is very hyper pop, what you'd hear on MySpace, right? It has that same sound as like what you might expect from like a Metro Station 303 synthy, whatever. But I think what's so fun about the project and us writing together is we actually have so much fun doing it. because we don't take it seriously. So we'll go in and be like, let's do a screamo song today. And that's all we need to start with. Let's do a screamo song. And then he'll grab his guitar and then start working on riffs. And then we're like, that's the riff. Just track that riff.
Yep.
And then while he's tracking that, I might be over there just coming up with an interesting scream pattern or whatever. And it just starts to develop. And we've had sessions where we've just gone this way and been like, and then like let's just say we have the entire first verse musically done. And then we do something so dope on the pre-chorus that we just kind of get rid of the first part and we just build off the pre-chorus. So it's all just, it's so fun that there's no rule to it. We just kind of like get in there and just have fun.
Yeah, it's like not as
simple.
methodical or like planned or like we're like laughing a lot and we're like, oh my God, that would be cool to do a part that's like story of the year. But then we can like do it like in one of the new songs we were doing, I was like, it would be cool to have like an American football riff. And then it goes into something completely different just to like have that little tidbit in there.
The Midwest emo sound opening, and then it just goes somewhere.
Yeah.
That would be
or
awesome.
just like whatever, just trying to be experimental. And because it's like, I always say it's like with the emo's not dead thing, it's I'm used to working with people where like everything is riding on the songs, like the touring, the perception of the artist, everything. So this is kind of nice because there's like a lot of different facets of emo's not dead, because it's like you guys have the performance stuff, the cruise stuff, the merch stuff, this stuff, the videos. Like there's a lot of different things that play into it. And like the cool thing with Matt is like when we're working on the song, he's like talking about what the video is going to look like.
Right.
So it's like he's thinking like, all right, is this going to translate to a video? What could we do to make the video cool? So we're like also thinking it in that way.
Yeah.
Which is like not some, like usually a lot of times you'll be like, you'll have the song and then you like give it to someone to make it like, oh, like what should the video be?
You
now?
get a treatment. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we actually come up with video concepts literally in the studio as we're writing the song.
The Girl Like You music video has so much potential for just awesome. Like
I love that song so much. It like taps some sort of like, I guess it's like a nostalgic thing, but when I hear it, it like sounds familiar, but it's like not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
dude.
sounds. It's like that's what I like about some of the songs. It like sounds like it was. It like
It was
I
there.
feel like I knew this song was on this album. You're like, but it's new.
Yeah. Have you guys thought about an album title?
Not at all.
I don't know.
No.
Can I
That's
suggest one?
Yes.
Industry Plant.
And
Why do I kind of like that?
It's so good.
It's just industry plant. I kind of like it. It might be
And then
that.
it's just like a little plant in a pot with a little emo wig on it.
It's a plant growing out of a smokestack of like an oil factory or something.
I kind of dig
plant,
that.
Yeah.
Industry Plant.
Industry plant. I like it.
A smokestack with a plant, like a fern coming out.
That's kind of sick.
I actually got the treatment for it, dude. I know the place that we could go shoot that.
Oh, you got the treatment from Wes?
I think
For the industry
for
plant
industry
thing?
plant. Like we have the perfect. We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
later.
And
Well,
it's
yeah.
also like so descriptive of Matt's creative life
I
as
know.
well. Which
Yeah.
is crazy.
Since day one, really.
We're calling the album that. That's it.
Okay, we just figured that out live on the podcast.
Dude, first of all, it's getting hot again, isn't
It's
it?
hot.
Did you turn off the AC? Is that
No,
why?
it's just
It just doesn't work.
It's
Okay.
broken.
Well, dude, Andrew, that's it, right?
Yeah, are
We've
you
got it.
going on tour? Do you have anything that you want to like? You want to promote? Like what?
My comedy tours, no.
AndrewGoldstein.com.
Thank you, guys.
Anything?
I love that. Andrew, do you have anything to promote? He says no.
No.
All right, thanks for watching the podcast. Great, I'll take it.
Has
Andrew
anyone done that?
No, Andrew
No, you're
Goldstein
the
at
first
gmail.com.
Okay, guys, give it up for guys. This audience loved you. Give it up for
Guys,
Andrew
thank
Goldstein.
you so much.
Since
crazy.
Andrew's not going to plug himself, I will. He's an amazing producer, songwriter. He also has a side project that he does called FRND, FRND. And
I should have probably plugged it.
You probably should have plugged that. And it's.
I think it's on Bandcamp.
It's on Spotify.
Do you have a
cool.
song featuring Blackberry with FRND?
Yeah,
You
it's
do,
actually
right?
it went gold recently.
Get out. Are you serious,
Yeah,
bro?
it was like
Congratulations, dude.
It was a song I did with Blackbear, and we left the second verse open. This was in like 2018, I think, and we left the second verse open because I like work with him on stuff, and he was just like, "Yo, this kind of sounds like your project. Do you just want to like sing the second verse or whatever?" So I did, and he's put it on his album. It's like I think it's almost at 100 million streams.
What
Dude.
a sweetie, dude.
That's huge.
So weird, yeah.
That's huge. Okay, so check
sorry.
out Andrew Goldstein as FRND, FRND, and check out the song featuring Blackbird. That sounds kind of dope.
Cool.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Goldstein is in the house. Oh, she likes you.